Washington, the teams that won, maybe ask yourself how close or how far away are they from the teams that lost?
Well, I mean, you look at a team like Washington, you just mentioned them, and you think about where they were last year, how bad that roster was, how bad that team was. And now all of a sudden you hit on a few guys and you hit on a quarterback, obviously, how it can – head coach, how it can just pop overnight. I mean, that can happen. So but I think the Broncos are still a little ways away. I thought they overachieved defensively. They're going to need to continue to add there. And then the pieces offensively, you're going to have to really – you're going to have to hit on those guys. You have to hit on a running back and a tight end, need another receiver. So I think it's a little ways away still. And then, we got to see what Bo looks like next year. All the buzz last year was C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud. He didn't quite take that step forward that I think they were hoping. Now, he got to the playoffs, obviously. He was fine, but it wasn't like he took a big step forward after a great rookie year. So Bo's got to continue to develop. And they need to add the pieces around him. But so I think it's still a little ways away. It's hard to do, Mike. I get it. They got to the wild card weekend, and okay, that's great. But it just doesn't happen. Doesn't mean you're gonna take that next step the following year and get to the divisional round.
C.J. Stroud played 2 more games this season than last season. Played 15 games last year, 17 games this year, but yet threw for 400 less yards, 3 less touchdowns, 7 more interceptions, 14 more sacks. So, and the eye test also indicated that he took a regression, a step back.
And I'm not saying that's going to happen with Bo, but you see, I mean,
it can happen. Sophomore slump,
right?
Dreaded sophomore slump. Rest of the league catches up, adjusts. It's up to you to adjust back, right?
Yeah. So it's, it just doesn't mean just because you have a good rookie year and we all feel great about Bo and his development, that doesn't mean it's just going to happen. It didn't happen for C.J. Stroud. And you can't tell me that all the Texans fans didn't think they had the next top 5 quarterback after an unbelievable rookie year. I mean, I think he threw 3 or 4 interceptions was all his rookie year, something like that. I mean, just unbelievable season, and he just didn't follow it up. It just wasn't quite the same as the year before. And you ask yourself why. I don't know.
On the RamosLaw.com text line, as we anticipate the probable arrival of Mark Schlereth, not questionable today. He's listed as probable.
Probable, good.
But
that's good.
Could be a late.
Never know.
Could be a late game scratch.
Yep.
Never.
Fox on the stairs.
My leg. Fox executive shows up. Hey, guys, how about lunch?
Let's go get a steak. We need to do a promo video.
Right.
You just never know.
Go get a steak at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can do that.
Kind of a big deal.
You can do that.
That's what you do in New York, right?
Yeah, sure. You can find
what executives do.
Yeah, you can find a good power brunch. At 10 a.m. So we look forward. But in the meantime, on the RamosLaw.com text line, this is from Kevin in Hudson. Roll Tide. Stokley, if they're so dead set on protecting the quarterback, why did Jared Goff get lit up helmet to helmet and no call was made? Even the announcers were like, that should have been flagged.
Yeah, I didn't think that should have been flagged.
What?
Well, no, come on. What are we doing? He's trying to make a tackle. He got blocked. He got blocked in the grill. I mean, like if you don't want to get blocked, okay, then don't try to make the tackle. And you just can't wait to talk.
I can't wait. Because I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
If Patrick Mahomes had thrown that interception and tried to make the same exact play that Jared Goff did and got blown up helmet to helmet like Jared Goff had, Roger Goodell would have immediately hired a firing squad at midfield for that offender.
Wow.
If that was Mahomes. That's how retribution would have come that swiftly.
Well, okay. I just think that in those situations, you see helmet to face mask, right, or whatever the case may be. That happens every play when you block. Every play, that stuff happens. And so it wasn't a defenseless player. He was trying to make a tackle, so he wasn't defenseless. And he wasn't sitting there in the pocket and got hit helmet to helmet. So I I like the fact that was a no call on that play.
Well, he is now definite. He is in the lineup.
Okay.
No injury designation, no availability designation. Mark Schlereth is here. Good morning, Stank.
Good morning, guys. Brandon, it's great to have you back. I thought Mountain Crumpet got you yesterday, but apparently it was a scheduled day off.
Yes.
So
they
good
made
for
me.
you.
They made me take to Mike Evans's point, they made me take – it was a load management day.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
load
right.
management day. So I was forced to sit out, and that's just what happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? You're forgiven.
Thank you.
Great to have him here.
You're welcome.
Great to have him
Yeah,
here.
it is.
We were just discussing, Stink, and please jump in on the conversation. After watching the divisional round over the weekend, how close or how far away do you think the Broncos are from being able to play in this divisional round?
Well, I mean, look at I think they're very close. Look at every team that won. Every team that won had less yards than the team that ended up losing. They just didn't turn the ball over. So, I mean, if you're judicious with the football, you don't turn the football over, and you run the football, you got a chance to win in the playoffs. The playoffs are a little bit different, right? It's a little different the way playoffs operate, and if you can do those things, I mean, you look at the winners. Josh Allen had like 127 yards passing. Jalen Hurts had 128 yards passing. I think like the guys who had a lot of yards passing all ended up losing. So, if you dominate the line of scrimmage, you run the football, you don't turn the ball over, you got a chance. So, yeah, I think the Broncos are they there? No, but are they close? Yeah, they're very close.
How concerned – I'm a little bit concerned about this defense taking a step back. And we're just kind of not even really thinking about that. You look at how they finished the season, their last 5 games, counting the playoffs, 32 points they gave up. And then there was a 13 against Indy, but Jonathan Taylor gave us 7 points right there. Then 34 points, 30 points. I'm not counting the Chiefs game. Okay, we're going to just leave that one out. And 31 in the playoffs. How concerned are we now that this defense that carried this football team through majority of the season, all of a sudden takes a step back and looks more like they did towards the end of the season than they did in the early to middle part of the season?
Yeah, is it a concern? Yeah, you have to be concerned, but I'm not dramatically concerned, Stoke. And I think part of it is your lack of consistent offensive running, your ability to run the ball, your ability to possess the ball, the time possession. I mean, look what happened in that Bills game, right? That playoff game. I mean, the Bills, what do they have, 49 minutes of possession? And it was your key to victory. Time possession,
Darn
right?
And you laughed at me. You laughed.
No, I know that was Mike. It was Mike. I did not laugh. I'm a big time possession guy. I think that and attempts are like two of the big stats that I really think contribute. But
it's probably
it's
probably a safe bet that I laughed at.
Yeah. I remember. I'm still scarred. It's still kind of it's weighing on me.
Yeah, so I think there's an attrition that goes on with the defense when you have to spend way too much time on the football field. And I think ultimately that's what happened at the end of the season. You have a couple of injuries. Riley Moss misses time, a couple other injuries along the way. You start getting beat up a little bit. I think it's really hard to maintain that level of defense when you can't consistently possess the ball and you can't consistently play with a lead. Like if you play with a lead a lot, that'll also open it up because you don't have to defend the run as much and you can just rush the passer and you can create more turnovers if you're playing with the lead. So all those things, I look at their defensive struggles and I put a lot of what happened to their defense on the lack of consistency in running the football and playing with the lead. I put a lot of that on their offense.
I think there is an element of, just like we talk about this offense, that while you may feel confident that you have the quarterback in place, there are still a lot of pieces that need to be added to this offense. Let's not lose sight of the idea that this was a defense that much was made about how, hey, they're doing what they're doing with only one former first-round pick on this defense. So I think there was a strong element of overachieving with this defense. I think Vance Joseph got the absolute most, maybe even more than you could have expected to get out of this defense. And eventually, maybe the lack of talent caught up. And so just like we talk about an offense that needs upgrades talent-wise, are we looking at the same thing with this defense, which, lends to the idea, Stoke, that there could be a regression if you're not careful.
Yeah, I mean, that's my concern. I think when I look at it, I say, okay, I get it. We only got the one first-round pick, but there's some talented guys. That front with John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen, DJ Jones, and then you put the pass rushers in there that popped this year. They got a really good front. You worry, like Mike Kliss talked about earlier, you worry about the inside linebackers. You'd like to upgrade there, but I feel great about Riley Moss and Surtain. And your two safeties played really good football. So I think it's sustainable. I don't think it's one of those things where, you kind of look up and they're a terrible defense next year. I just think that, you got to continue to add a couple pieces here and there. And I think the other thing that was really, and I don't know how it was late, but you just saw a lot of mental mistakes. We talked about the Cleveland game and just blown assignments, things like that. They need to clean up. But I like the group, and the group is not a group that's they're a team. They're a unit. They're not I. You don't have a lot of issues. Pat Surtain, you never hear him, doing all the stuff off the field and things like that. So it seems like they play well together and they like each other.
Yeah, I love that aspect of them, man. They play really hard. They play really well together. They complement each other. I just think it's infusing that defense with a little bit more talent. You mentioned the middle linebacker spot. I think inside as well, creating somebody to play off of Zach Allen. Edge presence, get a little bit more rotation on the edge of that defense. And ultimately, I think the back end is pretty good. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think that defense is a really good quality defense. I think they did wear out toward the end of the season. I don't think there's any question with that. But again, I'm not concerned about can this defense maintain? I am concerned a little bit about losing Vance Joseph.
For what it's worth, Stink, we had Mike Kliss on earlier. He doesn't anticipate him leaving.
Which is good. I mean, not good for Vance. I'd love to see Vance get another opportunity. I think if you put another defensive kind of performance like you did this year together, then I think you're definitely going to be in that next hiring cycle and get an opportunity. And I know that he's had some interviews, but yeah, I mean, all things considered, man, I'm really bullish on where the Broncos sit right now going into the offseason.
You said something after the Buffalo game, and forgive me. I apologize profusely if I took you out of context what you were saying. But are the Bronco pass rushers, Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper, are they as good and as impactful as the numbers would suggest? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but of all these sacks that the Broncos had, didn't you say that a lot of them were all kind of the byproduct of scheme, and that they didn't necessarily have the individual guys to go out there and be able to pressure the quarterback, that it came as a result of good scheme, and that maybe, a team like Buffalo was able to figure that out and exposed it a bit?
Well, I think one, if you shut down the run, you have more of an opportunity to scheme up your pass rush. And I think Vance did a great job of scheming up pass rush. They don't just sit there and say, hey, our 4 against your 4. It's not how they operate. So they do get, because of scheme, some one-on-one matchups that are favorable. And you still have to beat the guy. Nick Benito still has to beat an offensive tackle. Jonathan Cooper still has to beat an offensive tackle. But if you can scheme it up to where you're not getting a bunch of double teams, where Zach Allen is getting pressure, like Zach Allen is probably, even though he didn't lead the league with sacks, he's probably the most defensively, he's probably the most dominant player they have, where you could just turn him out one-on-one all the time, and he's going to win the majority of his matchups. But, yeah, scheme had a lot to do with the success they had off the edge, and that's where I think that Vance Joseph was really, really good all season long.
Yeah, I think, you look at what Vance was able to do, to Mark's point, and when they have the 5 down, the 6 down, are they bringing pressure? They're not bringing pressure. Certainly helps the guys out when you're rushing a passer. But you got to go out there and beat the guys. And so, yeah, I'm both those guys, Cooper and Benito, really popped this year. Jonah Ellis, who might be having surgery, something with his shoulder. We'll see what that looks like in the offseason. But his development, continuing to pair him with those other 2 guys on the outside, yeah, I think, and it's good. It's good to have. Looks like we're going to have Vance back. I'd like to see it for another year and see what it looks like. See if they can continue to progress.
Stink. In case you haven't been paying attention, my Avalanche prediction is slowly dying a slow death. I said that they would go 20-7 before the Stokley can't wait for highly anticipated 4-nation faceoff. He was studying up on Switzerland over the course of the weekend. But the Avs now, after this recent 4-4-1 stretch, are now 11-6-1 in my 20-7. So unless unless they win out, I can't win. So I need
What's the longest streak? What's the longest streak they've been on in recent years?
Oh, they've won, 8, 9, 10 in a row. Yeah, they have it in them.
So they could do it.
Could, but my tragic number is down to 0. Like I don't think they can lose another game between now and February 7th or something like that. So it doesn't look good. So like any good talk radio host, I need an excuse or excuses. So I've been asking the texters to come up with either real hockey excuses or fun, snarky excuses that I can use. And somebody said, I love this one, but it led to some controversy. Somebody said, Evans, if you'd only had 4 or 5 extra prediction reps in the offseason, you might have nailed this.
That's pretty good.
And that led to,
Sure.
All right, well, we can stop it now. The point made. So the extension of the Zach By sensitivity smear campaign, but Stoke wants to propose ending the streak. Like ending it not even 20 days in.
Well, let me explain.
Explain. I don't agree with this. Stank, you tell me what you think.
Yeah. So here it is, Mark. And I think if Zach can, his team is Buffalo, right, Mark? We know he loves the Bills. He's got his whole crew now. I mean, they're all big
Buffalo
Bills fans.
Bills.
Right?
Jammies
you raise your kids.
Jammies the other day.
Right. You think you raise your kids to be Broncos fans, right? Since you live here now.
Yeah, apparently not.
And you're. I'm not going to even go down that road. So if his Bills, we're all going for the Bills now. Everyone's going for the Bills, right? Broncos country, most of the country is. And if the Bills are able to beat Kansas City, they do it for all of us. We say, all right, Zach, your Bills got it done. Thank you. We're going to end the smear campaign. What do you think?
Who got to you? Did Zach get to you? Did Zach get to you?
No. I was just thinking, it might be a good gesture on our part because, hey, we all want this to happen.
How long did you and Zach smear me?
Oh, a long time. Long time.
Like over 50 days?
I want to pound his ass.
Over 50 days?
Oh, yeah.
Over 100 days?
I don't know. I know it was over 50.
Was it over 100?
Probably.
So you're talking about smearing my guy, Mark Schlereth, over 100 days, and you want to cut short the Zach By sensitivity smear campaign at like 23?
If Buffalo beats Kansas City, it's not a freebie. It's not a freebie. This is Buffalo beating Kansas City. The streak is over. They're not three-peating and all these other things. And, I mean, we got a great week leading up to the Super Bowl.
It's not like the Bills are a Cinderella team here.
Yes, they are.
They've been knocking they've been knocking on the door here for a few years.
They're not knocking
13 seconds left.
13.
Why didn't you muddle kick, or what do you call
muddle
it?
Kick.
Crater
Right.
kick.
Never heard of the muddle kick.
What do you call it, Stink?
Mortar
kick.
Mortar
kick.
Why do you
and the
mortar
mortar.
kick?
I got crater
Gosh,
and
could you imagine?
muddle.
Could you imagine if they would have practiced that in training camp 4 more times that season? I will never let it die. Ever.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That's my guy. That's my Mark Schlereth.
There's real
What
beef.
does he always say? I'm a gracious loser, but I'm a real jerk of a winner. So that's stink. I like it. I like it. I like
well, all right. Well, it's going to be if the Bills do win, I think I might be on the sideline, and y'all going to have to carry the torch then.
Really?
Wow.
I
think
Mike
Zach got
Evans
to
look.
I think Zach got to you.
What team do you want to play
Did he
for?
cry on your shoulder?
Wow. Who
What
are
happened?
you with?
Wow. So you're telling me that you'll be out?
We'll see. Well,
Okay. Boy.
it's not confirmed.
Stig,
it's not confirmed.
I think we got an Andre Iguodala in our midst.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, say it ain't so.
We got a
Wow.
we got a turncoat.
Wow.
We got a spy.
We got a turncoat?
Oh,
Man, oh, man.
We'll see.
Look at
We'll see. We'll see
Iguodala
how I'm feeling next
whispering,
week.
Dude,
We got
it had to be.
whispering sweet nothings to Mark
I
Jackson.
need to. Can I see the impassioned text message that you got? I mean, replete
There's
with tears
nothing.
and everything.
There's nothing there.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Wow. Okay.
We'll see what it looks like.
We'll see what it looks like.
Okay.
I'm not. All right. Let's just say this. I'm not going to commit to it before the game. Let's see how the game plays out. Let's see what kind of emotions we feel if it does indeed
Okay.
happen.
All right.
And maybe we feel so